What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy at the request of Flower Child. We're going to compare MicroStrategy to Bitcoin as well, and I think we're also going to go for a cycle high prediction, like where I think this thing's going to top off for the crypto cycle. What's its high going to be? I don't think it's going to be there. Spoiler alert. I think it's going to go higher than that. Say spoiler alert 5 times fast. Maybe it's just me, but I swear that was harder than I thought it would be. All right, 421 is the current price. If we look at this thing from an overall high to an overall low of the last cycle high to the last cycle low here, you can see that we are at the golden extension. We literally tipped the golden extension perfectly, right? You broke right above, you kind of did exactly what Bitcoin did, right? You broke right above your all-time highs, consolidated right at the 886, and then you ripped up, right? Bitcoin, if we do the same look here, and it could be, maybe this is a premonition of what Bitcoin, of what's to come for Bitcoin. High to low here, right? Consolidated right at, you broke right above your all-time highs, consolidated right at the 886, and then ripping up, right? MicroStrategy, it's the same thing, just it's already moved up. So maybe Bitcoin's making a move all the way up to 173 by the end of this move, by the beginning of next year. Who knows? I've actually been theorizing that, right? But anyways, we'll do that comparison more so throughout the video. I want to keep it more pertained to MicroStrategy right now. I know on the monthly, it looks like you have bearish divergence. We do have 6 days left in the month. You know, tomorrow included, so probably 5 days left for it would be, would it be 4 days? No, let me see. I'm going to look at the calendar here real quick. Yeah, we have 5 days left in the month for the for the stock market. Oh, but Thanksgiving too, so maybe 4 days. But either way, very shortly approaching the end of the month. I do believe that we'll close here, maybe lower, maybe a little higher. I don't think we'll close higher than 542, and with that, we'll probably have some bearish divergence. Of a look of bearish divergence on our monthly, but I would expect next month, December, to continue to grow. I do believe that we're going to reach for that $1,000 price area. If we don't stop there, guys, we're headed to 2,400 at a minimum, right? If we don't stop at 1,000 for resistance, we're going up to 2,000. That's like the next legible area. Like without question, that'd be the next legible area. So I would very much expect we find resistance at 1,000. That's a nice psychological level. And the 1886 itself, it just makes sense to me. But you know, that does remain to be seen, right? MicroStrategy very well could have found a momentary high here. Maybe it does consolidate longer. I don't expect it to, but time will tell. Let's look at the weekly RSI. Looks very, very bullish, right? No reasons really to be scared here, in my opinion, other than a lot of volume. You have a pretty solid wick there. If we look at this high to low, relatively speaking, you went just through your 2272. Normally with this kind of look, when you tear right through the 1618 like this, I do expect that you move up to your 2272, 2618 area, which you kind of have. You know, it'd be nice if you completed the move and went up to 604, but I suppose you don't have to. If you were to pull back from here, you'd pull back to either your 1618 or your 1272 or somewhere in between, and that's between about $305 to $240. You're at 421 now. So if MicroStrategy were to correct and consolidate here, that would be the worst of it, right? Down in that area and then up, if it even does that. And what's right in the midst of that area? This little gap right here. So it's very possible you could find support on the 14142, but something between 305 and 240 I think is likely for this thing if you don't see immediate continuation to the upside this next week, right? You don't need to get above this high next week, but you need to start moving up. You definitely want to see this thing move up. If you start moving down, especially if you get below that 1886, 366 here, if you get below that, I would say it's very likely that you're going to see 305 to 240, probably something right around that 260, $300 area. Okay? And then if not, if you don't correct, $600, probably not too much past that. Maybe go up as high as like 700, but probably like around 600, just a little bit higher, and then you get that correction, right? But MicroStrategy looking pretty bullish overall. I do expect that it will continue to grow, and to end this cycle, I mean, its market cap, it's almost at $100 billion. You guys, I think this could be a multi-$100 billion market cap by the end of the cycle. If we look at this thing's overall history from the all-time high to all-time low for a very long time, the minimum target would be $2,046. I don't think you're going to 20,000, but the minimum target would be 2,000, and you've already broken your all-time highs here. So that's what I would say for your all-time high by the end of this cycle would be 2,000. You have your 2272 coming in right there, probably prices just above 2,000. If not, and I know it sounds crazy, believe me, I know, but crazy things happen, right? 5,000. 52, 5,300 could be the all-time high for MicroStrategy by the end of this cycle. It really could be. It's something to consider. It's not something to count on or hold your breath over, but being this far away from that number, it should be something to consider, right? Especially if you're taking into if you're thinking about selling or taking profits, maybe just wait, right? I don't think we're there yet. If you want to do short-term trades and stuff like that, okay, you know, maybe we do see a correction or something soon. It's possible. But if this is a long-term hold for you, any short-term corrections are just an opportunity to buy. I mean, with the potential that we have, the minimum given potentials, guys, like the minimum potential would be 2,000. The maximum potential is probably that. I don't think we're going to 20K. I know that that's in our standard primary area here, but I think we should take that off the table. But with multi-$1,000 price targets by the end of this cycle, why mess with it, right? I think I would just wait, be patient, add more if it comes down. Look at the 3 hour. I mean, the 3 hour RSI looks bullish. The daily RSI looks bullish. They all look bullish to me, man. So I have a hard time seeing this thing correct right now, but it could happen, you know, especially if this next week, if we don't get some like immediate continuation upwards, right? If we continue to drop. So anyways, that's all I got for that. Let's talk about MSTR versus BTC, right? BTC USD. We'll do the all-time history index, and then we'll do MicroStrategy here. Yeah. Okay. So this is the MicroStrategy chart priced in Bitcoin. All right. Whenever it moves up, that means MicroStrategy was the better choice to invest in. Whenever it moves down, that means Bitcoin was the better choice to invest in. If we look at this chart for MicroStrategy, it actually looks like it has an Adam and Eve. There's your Adam and there's your Eve. It's a very beautiful pattern, double bottom kind of pattern. You do have some form of a double bottom here. The way that you would measure it actually is you would take the deepest part of your pattern. Wow, I don't know what just happened there. You take the deepest part of your pattern to that focal point there, that like, I don't know what to, I always call it the nipple, but I don't know what to call it, that high point of the move. And then that's your measured move, something up to about 3% of a Bitcoin per MicroStrategy. 3% of a Bitcoin. What would that be? I mean, if Bitcoin was 100 grand, 3% would be 3 grand. So that's a doable target. But what if Bitcoin was 200,000 and MicroStrategy was 3%? That, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know about 6K being a thing. But that could make sense too, because if MicroStrategy were to be 3% of a Bitcoin and it tops off earlier than Bitcoin, I don't think that it'll top off at the same time as Bitcoin, right? It topped off last cycle in February. Bitcoin topped off in November, and it had its its first high in April, so a couple months later still than February, right? So I would expect MicroStrategy tops off before Bitcoin is the only thought I'm trying to say. But overall, bullish pattern. I definitely think you're moving up. The monthly RSI looks good. The weekly RSI looks really good. The daily RSI is bullish as hell as well. So the best kind of guess that I would have would be if we take this overall high to this overall low. We keep in mind 2.95%, right? Around 3%, or was it just 2.9%? I can't remember. Come on now, high to low there. Your next immediate areas would be something of like 0.007, 007 to 1.35% of a Bitcoin, something like that probably. Don't be surprised. I say that's your next target, but actually don't be surprised if you do pull back a little bit. We might see Bitcoin get away from MicroStrategy over the coming maybe to finish out the year even, actually. I could see that pull back to your 886 and then continue to move up. That could make sense. In which case, you know, maybe for the move up that's coming, Bitcoin would be the better investment. But then when they correct, because this is what, to me, I would assume that around this time, that's when Bitcoin will probably chill. I would think MicroStrategy is going to chill if Bitcoin chills. So if we're expecting it to grow from that point, that might mean that Bitcoin drops more than MicroStrategy. Maybe. I don't know. Just a theory. But overall, yes, I think it is in time going to gain value versus Bitcoin over the months. Maybe not over the days, maybe not over the weeks, but over the months. I think so. Yeah, I think it might go down. You know, it's really, I want to see, this might be a better thing to analyze next week too, right? I want to see, do you persist? Do you break this little trend here? Or do you reverse and continue it? You know, I think tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but 2 days from now, we'll have a better understanding. All right, that's all I got. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Take it easy. Bye-bye.